this hour on VTV News. Vietnam, Kazakhstan strengthen party channel cooperation. And modernizing Vietnam labor market towards fairness and growth. India strikes Pakistan after Kashmir attack, killing at least 8.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. During the state visit to Kazakhstan, Party General Secretary Tolam met with Ilan Korshunov, who served as both chairmen of the House of Representatives and chairman of the ruling Amanat Party. Party General Secretary Tolam congratulated Kazakhstan on its achievements under President Tokayev and the Amanat Party leadership, as well as the Kazakh people's victory over fascism on May 7th. Both sides agreed to strengthen cooperation between the Communist Party of Vietnam and the Amanat Party, as well as between the Vietnamese National Assembly and Kazakhstan House of Representatives. This cooperation will extend to broader bilateral relations through enhanced political dialogue and delegation exchanges at all levels. On parliamentary matters, they agreed to exchange delegations between specialized committees and friendship groups, share experiences in law enforcement supervisions and legislative work, and support the implementations of intergovernmental agreements. On May 7, 1955, exactly 1 year after the historic Dbinfu victory, the Coastal Defense Force was officially established as the predecessor of today's Vietnam People's Navy. The ceremony celebrating the Navy's 70th anniversary and the third receipt of the Ho Chi Minh Medal took place Wednesday morning in Hai Phong. At the ceremony, State President Lương Cường commended the service maturity, growth, and outstanding achievements, noting their unwavering dedication to protecting the sovereignties of nations' seas, islands, and sacred continental shelf. The protection of Vietnam maritime sovereignty is the collective will, determination, and responsibility of the entire party, peoples, and army, with the People's Navy serving as the core force. In a meeting with the Chief Justice of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính emphasized the sea's vital importance, particularly as Vietnam aims to become a strong maritime nation focused on sustainable development, prosperity, and security. The Prime Minister praised the United Nations Conventions on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS 1982, describing it as the ocean constitutions that provides a legal framework for maritime activities and serves as the foundation for maintaining order, peace, and stability at sea, including in the East Sea. He reaffirmed Vietnam's consistent policy of respecting and following international law, including UNCLOS 1982. Chief Justice Thomas Hayda commended Vietnam's long-standing commitment to UNCLOS 1982 and its practical support for the tribunal work. He also expressed gratitude for Vietnam nominations of an outstanding legal expert as judge for the tribunal's 2026-2035 term. The National Assembly convened a plenary session on Tuesday, May 7, to discuss the remaining differences in the draft amended employment law. The discussion centered on building a modern and balanced labor market.
Backing the revised employment law, deputies highlighted that the latest draft strengthens several key areas: labor market information systems, national vocational skill assessments, job services, worker registration, and the development of skills and human capital quality.
This revised law is an opportunity to institutionalize major party policies outlined in Resolutions 57, 68, and 18 on streamlining organizational structure. If these are fully incorporated, it would create strong momentum for a sustainable, modern labor market that meets the public's and businesses' expectations.
Several deputies urged the addition of provisions to help workers better respond to shifts in the job market.
Article 44, which covers reskilling support, focuses on structural or climate-related changes. But job losses today often stem from automation, AI, and digitalization, which cause skills mismatch. The draft lacks a clear identification of workers affected by these factors, resulting in limited support mechanisms.
Deputies called for more precise definitions within specific policies to ensure proper worker support.
Loan programs have faced barriers due to a lack of employment documents like contracts or payslips. The law should propose flexible identification criteria, such as certification from community groups or records of service-based work.
I propose adding the phrase, local labor use in rural and mountainous areas to Article 4, Clause 4. This would encourage local hiring and support job creation and career transition in these regions.
The National Assembly will meet in groups to discuss proposed amendments to the 2013 Constitution, the revised law on local government organization, and the amended law on public officials and civil servants.
At the regular government press conference of 4 April 2025 held Tuesday afternoon, the government announced a roadmap for providing free hospital fee and periodic health checkups for all people following the direction of Party General Secretary Theo. The policy to provide annual health checkups and free hospital care is both a medical initiative and a humanitarian measure. The Ministry of Health is drafting a proposal to present to the government and submit to the Politburo for a breakthrough resolution in public health care that meets new era development requirements. The goal is to ensure 100% of Vietnamese people receive periodic health checkups by 2030. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired a meeting with ministries and the government's negotiation delegation on Monday to prepare for trade talks with the United States. This was the seventh such meeting to implement the Politburo directive on adapting to the new U.S. tariff policies. The Prime Minister emphasized that negotiations should be calm, consistent, flexible, and aligned with Vietnam conditions while protecting national interests and ensuring international commitments. Ministry were urged to prepare thoroughly, providing feedback on negotiation points and focusing on importing U.S. goods that align with Vietnam's needs. He also instructed quick responses to issues raised by U.S. businesses on investment projects in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu and Hưng Yên, ensuring the balance of interests and compliance with Vietnamese law. Vietnam's fruit and vegetable exports are slowing after 2 years of strong growth. In April, export turnover reached $450 million, with a total value for the first 4 months of 2025 at $1.6 billion, a nearly 14% decline compared to the same period last year. This decline marked the end of 2 years of continuous growth. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, China remains the dominant export destination, accounting for 45% of total export value. The United States and South Korea are the second and third largest markets, with shares of 9.6% and 6.2% respectively. Among Vietnam's top 15 export markets, Hong Kong, China show the strongest performance, with export more than doubling, while China saw the steepest decline of over 30%. Vietnam fruit and vegetable sector faces mounting challenges, with the United States imposing retaliatory tariff and China yet to increase its imports. Many businesses struggle to maintain production levels. Despite these pressures, some enterprises are successfully adapting and securing new orders to sustain export growth.
After the United States temporarily delayed the 46% tariff, this company quickly ramped up raw material procurement and processing to fulfill existing orders.
We are closing an order of 19 tons of vegetables. We're using this 90-day period to prepare another 19-ton container for shipment to the U.S.
Coconut prices have reached record highs. factories in the Mekong Delta are capitalizing on the global supply shortage by increasing their processing capacity and diversifying their export markets.
The market is diverse. While it's difficult in markets like the US, we are recovering and performing well in others.
We are expanding into promising markets like Japan, South Korea, Australia, and ASEAN countries. Vietnam's signing of new protocols for official export to China has also opened up more opportunities.
Reaching the target of $8 billion in exports in 2025 remains a significant challenge for Vietnam's fruit and vegetable industry. The sector's main strategies focus on diversifying products, exploring new markets, and transforming challenges into opportunities.
Vietnam's banks are now dispersing a $4 billion credit package for the agriculture, forestry, and fisheries sectors. The package offers interest rate from 1 to 1.5 percentage point below average lending rates, suggesting rapid uptake by borrowers.
A shrimp farming household has just received a $28,000 working capital loan. The interest rate is one of the lowest ever offered.
This rate is favorable for aquaculture farmers. It was quick and easy. Sometimes the loan is dispersed the very next day after paperwork is done.
Another fish farmer in the same area is also benefiting from the program, receiving a rate that is 1% per year lower than the standard bank loans with the same term.
With a loan of around $180,000, I save about $1,800 a year. It helps reduce production costs.
15 banks have registered to join the program, pledging credit lines from several millions to hundreds of millions of US dollars. The loan terms are now more flexible. In Ho Chi Minh City alone, nearly 2,100 customers have received more than $140 million in disbursements.
This is a relatively good pace of disbursement. The rates are supportive, and the loan terms match the production cycles, especially for aquaculture farmers in the district and other outlying ones.
Since its launch nearly 2 years ago, the credit package has undergone 3 expansions. These adjustments demonstrate the program's success in directing credit to this high-priority, high-demand sector.
And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, May 7th. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnam commemorates 71st anniversary of Dbinfu victory. And has Giang listed among world's 10 most beautiful destinations. Today marks the 71st anniversary of the Dbinfu victory, May 7, 1954, May 7, 2025, the historic triumph that ended Vietnam's resistance war against French colonialism. The Dbinfu victory represented not only a military success, but also embodied the patriotism, indomitable will, and resilience of the Vietnamese people. This victory secured Dbinfu place in the world history, inspiring oppressed peoples globally to fight for national independence and catalyzing the collapse of all colonialisms worldwide. It remains an occasion for Vietnamese people to take pride in the Communist Party of Vietnam, the great President Ho Chi Minh, and the heroic Vietnam People's Army. A giant 500 square meters Buddhist flag was hoisted into the sky yesterday during the United Nations Vesak 2025 celebration in Ho Chi Minh City. The event aims to promote world peace and happiness. The flag, which flies at an impressive height of 50 to 70 meters, measures 25.69 meters in length, representing the 2,569 years of Buddhist history. Crafted from an ultra-durable fabric, the flag features the 5 colors of blue, yellow, red, white, and orange, arranged in the traditional order of the Buddhist flag. This flag is set to fly high until noon on May 8th. As the United Nations Day of Vesak 2025 is taking place in Ho Chi Minh City from May 6th to 8th, a nationwide photography contest honoring Buddhist values has captured widespread attention. Titled Buddhist Wisdom, Human Dignity and Peace, the contest offers a compelling portrayal of Buddhism's compassion, wisdom, kindness, and humanitarian spirit, along with its message of peace and harmony.
Jointly organized by the Ho Chi Minh City Photography Association and the Vietnam Institute of Buddhist Studies, the contest aims to honor the core values of Buddhism. It received over 1,400 entries from across the country.
Compared to previous competitions, this year's entries showed a leap in creativity. Photographers embraced new technology and brought fresh perspectives to their storytelling, offering a dynamic, modern reflection of Buddhist life. The top prize was awarded to a photo of monks learning how to use computers. This is a stellar depiction of how Buddhism adapts to a modernizing world.
The exhibition has also drawn considerable attention from international guests. Through powerful imaginary, messages of peace, empathy, and shared humanity transcended language barriers, leaving a deep impression on all who visited.
I was deeply moved. These photos need no explanation. They speak a universal language of compassion and community.
Through the photographer's lenses, the exhibition shines a light on the spiritual essence and cultural beauty of Vietnamese Buddhism. It helps promote the image of Vietnamese Buddhism internationally and captures the unique beauty of this era in Buddhist history.
Buddhist wisdom, human dignity, and peace has become a meaningful bridge connecting souls who cherish beauty and kindness. It transcends borders to spread humanitarian values and celebrate the spirit of Vesak in a modern world.
In the mountainous commune of Vạn Xuân, Thương Xuân District, Thanh Hóa Province, where children go to schools every day despite countless hardships, there is now a space filled with knowledge. The new library has officially opened, a place dedicated to the children, the green shooting growing day by day in the face of adversity.
The Vạn Xuân Secondary School Library, built in July 2024 at the cost of over $15,400, is more than just a place for books. It's a space for dreams, fostering a love of learning and inspiring a reading culture among hundreds of students.
I feel very moved when I enter such a spacious library. Here, we can explore things we never knew before.
Since 2021, nearly $96,000 has been spent on libraries for disadvantaged children in northern mountainous provinces. Each project lights the path to knowledge.
We believe that this library will give teachers and students in the highlands access to a knowledge-rich environment, helping them grow and contribute to a brighter future.
The community's support has brought practical changes to children in the highlands, helping them overcome their circumstances, rise up and become useful citizens.
A library sparks 1,000 dreams. Great aspirations for the future will bloom from the pages of today's books. It's not only a material gift, but also a gift of love and trust in the future generations of the highland.
The famous folk plays Nghêu Sò Okin, or the stories of clam, oyster, snails, and muscles, had made its debut as a human puppet show for the first time. This revision breathed new life into Vietnam's theatrical traditions by featuring creative acting techniques from artists who previously performed as water puppeteers. The play has already graced the stage in many traditional art forms, including tuồng, chèo, cải lương, and drama.
The folk tale Nguyen Xuan Okin has been a beloved story among Vietnamese people for generations. Now it takes on an innovative twist at the Thăng Long Water Puppet Theater. Unlike traditional wooden puppets manipulated behind a curtain, each character comes to life through two performers working in tandem, one directing from behind while the other embodies the puppet on stage.
My biggest challenge was to find a new format, something different from what the creators before me had done.
It may feel unfamiliar or even strange to some audiences, but creativity is the soul of art.
This new adaptation marks the first time Thăng Long Water Puppet Theater has experimented with human puppetry on its main stage. Over the course of 2 months, seasoned puppeteers traded in their usual craft for a crash course in body language and spoken performance.
Artists must embody their roles as puppets. This means they cannot blink or reveal emotion while expressing the full weight of human emotions. That's the art of puppetizing a person.
This experimental approach in Nguyen Xuan Okin marks a bold new direction for the Thăng Long troupe, opening doors to international collaboration and deeper dialogue with the global puppetry community.
Ha Giang province has been named one of the world's 10 most beautiful destinations in 2025 by Times Out Travel Magazine UK. The region features winding mountain passes at Ma Pi Lang Pass and a layered terrace field. Its rich culture diversity of ethnic groups adds to its appeal. From Tham Ma Slope, visitors can enjoy breathtaking panoramic views of Nho Quế River. In the same list, Hoi An ancient town ranks 44th, celebrated for its historic charm and distinctive yellow heritage building. Coming up next in World News, India strikes Pakistan after Kashmir attacks, killing at least 8. And US-China to hold trade talks in Switzerland. Tension between India and Pakistan have escalated after India launched strikes against Pakistan early Wednesday. India's armed forces targeted 9 key terror infrastructure sites across Pakistan, describing them as locations from where terrorist attacks against India have been planned and directed. The Indian Ministry of Defense characterized the strike as focused measures and non-escalatory, emphasizing that no Pakistani military installations were targeted. According to the Pakistani military, the strike claimed at least 8 lives and injured dozens more. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has denounced the attack as an act of war. The strike will launch 2 weeks after a militant attack in Kashmir that killed at least 26 people. India has blamed Pakistan for those attacks, which Pakistan denied. The United Nations and the US have called for maximum restraint from both sides. The United States and China announced they would send delegation to Switzerland this week to resume bilateral trade talks amid a series of escalating tit-for-tat tariffs. According to the U.S. Treasury Department and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamison Gier will represent the U.S. in meetings scheduled for May 10th to 11th. Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng, who leads China-U.S. economic and trade affairs, will meet with Bessent during his visit to Switzerland. These meetings aim to lay the groundwork for future negotiations and de-escalate a trade war that could threaten global trade. This marked the first meeting between the top U.S. and Chinese economic officials since the U.S. imposed its latest round of additional tariff on Chinese goods at 145%. Newly appointed German Chancellor Friedrich Merz convened his first official cabinet meeting in Berlin after being sworn in as the country's 10th Chancellor, succeeding Olaf Scholz. The 18-member cabinet includes Lars Klingbeil, co-leader of the Social Democratic Party, who has been appointed finance minister and vice chancellor. Chancellor Merz advocates for free market competitions, nuclear energy restoration, stricter immigration policies, and renewed emphasis on Germany's traditional values. He also supports easing fiscal restrictions to finance industrial modernization and bolster Germany's defense capabilities. Type 1 diabetes affects more than 130,000 Australians. Australian researchers have begun a world-first human trial of a drug to treat the underlying cause of this lifelong autoimmune conditions. More to follow.
This 36-year-old mother of two was first diagnosed with gestational diabetes while pregnant with her daughter. The condition came back when she was expecting her son, and last year she found out she has type 1 diabetes. It's been a busy few years for the Brisbane mother, as she has to inject herself with insulin several times a day to regulate her blood sugar.
I was in shock. I had just run a half marathon. I was as fit as I had been in my life. If I could do anything that could take that away, I would be willing to do that.
For 25 years, rheumatologist and academic Ranjani Thomas has been developing a new treatment. The therapy aims to preserve pancreatic cells in people newly diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. The goal is to stop the disease in its track, thereby reducing the amount of insulin needed.
So this therapy is really trying to get to the root cause of the autoimmune disease.
The stakes are high. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition that isn't caused by lifestyle factors. People with the condition have an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, and nerve and vision issues.
There's a lot of implications with diabetes. It's a lifelong condition.
A phase 1 trial with 36 adult participants is now underway. If the medication proves safe and effective, researchers plan to conduct future studies in children. The long-term goal is to prevent the disease entirely in people identified as high risk.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. Is that all the news for today? To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.